You ever wake up thinking it'll be a normal day, then realize your life's about to become the main attraction for half the county? That was me, standing in my kitchen, coffee steaming in my hand, watching a parade of SUVs lining up at my locked ranch gate like they'd all gotten the same golden ticket. And the wildest part? None of these people were supposed to be here. Not by a mile. Let me back up a sec, because this wasn't just some random GPS glitch. Nope, this was orchestrated chaos, with arrow signs staked along the public road, each one practically shouting Realtor. Caravan. This way. Like my land was the neighborhood welcome center. The last sign was planted so close to my gate I could have knocked it down with a single annoyed glare. I look over and there's Rick, my neighbor, leaning on his fence with that smirk, the kind you get when you know you're about to witness a train wreck that isn't your fault. You planning a block party, Jake? He jokes, snapping pictures of the madness. First I'm hearing about it, Rick. I mutter, trying to wrap my head around what fresh HOA hell I'd just woken up to. Cue my phone buzzing. Email from Denise Caldwell, the self-crowned HOA queen from next door, declaring that my ranch is reserved for their big realtor showcase. She's expecting 150 agents to waltz through my gates for some community tour, as if the place is just an extension of her little kingdom. She even attaches a map with a digital pin sitting right on top of my front gate. Not her clubhouse, not some public park. My gate, as if it's just understood that she gets to make the rules around here. You know what I mean? The audacity was almost impressive. Within 20 minutes, I'm watching the first lost soul. A realtor in heels, wandering up and down the shoulder, staring at her phone, then at my gate, back and forth like she's searching for a portal to Narnia. Rick, always happy to stir the pot, calls out, "You lost." She holds up her phone, dead serious. The app says check-ins here. I walk over, explain this is private property, not some event center. She's genuinely surprised. And a little embarrassed, but at least she's polite. But the GPS, she says, holding out her phone. I shake my head and suggest she call her organizer. Rick looks at me, low whistle. This is about to get real fun. He wasn't wrong. Within the hour, more cars showed up. Then a vendor truck pulled in, the guy climbing out with a clipboard, all official-like. I'm here to make sure. The gate's ready for event traffic, he announces, barely glancing up as he checks my lock. Says he's got a work order from the management company. I ask for his insurance, flip through the paperwork, and sure enough, my name's not anywhere. No owner, no insurance, no access. I tell him, keeping it real simple for everyone within earshot. A realtor behind him gets snippy. We paid for access. Phones start recording. The vendor's hand shakes as he dials his office. Yeah, you're going to want to call this in before it turns into trespassing on camera, I add, nice and loud. You could see the color drain from his face. Here's where it twists. Someone had gone all in, programmed GPS apps, hired a vendor, set up a check-in tent on the county road shoulder, lined up orange cones like it was a county fair. They thought if they looked official enough, nobody would notice they were one signature short. Mine. Rick's taking photos like he's getting paid by the shot, and I'm calling the sheriff's non-emergency line, laying out every detail. Unauthorized signs, traffic cones, planned event on private land. We'll have a deputy swing by. The dispatcher says, calm as can be. Just when I thought I'd seen it all, a minibus full of agents pulls up, all business attire and big smiles, until they realize the party's not happening. Meanwhile, a group tries sneaking around back via the utility easement. I find them at the fence line, clipboard in hand, explaining the alternate route. This is for power company trucks only, I say, pointing at the giant no public access sign. Like clockwork, Mark Bradley, the utility tech, pulls up. He hands them an official notice. Easement closed for inspection, today. Not a lie, either. Mark posts the closure sign with a smile. I almost felt bad for the event planners. Almost. Next thing, I'm in the county office with Ellen Carter, the permits queen. She pulls up every file, cross-references every permit. There's no authorization for your ranch, she confirms, looking me in the eye. Then she finds something wild. The supposed county approval email didn't even come from a government server. Came straight from the HOA newsletter system. This is digital forgery, Ellen says. Not a clerical error. Fraud. She copies everything to the deputy and warns me. Keep every scrap of documentation. Someone at the HOA is in deep Right about then, Denise calls. Mr. Hollis, surely we can resolve this neighbor to neighbor. She purrs, still thinking she can. Schmooze her way through. I let her talk, just to hear how far she'll go. She tries to convince me it's all about community engagement, MLS certification, property values. I remind her, politely, that private property means you ask, not assume. She finally promises to send the official route sheet, which lands in my inbox minutes later, listing my ranch gate as the final stop, clear as day. Proof in black and white. Day of the event, the circus peaks. The locksmith arrives with a work order, no owner's signature. I ask him flat out, "You cutting that lock without my permission?" He reads the room, sees the deputy rolling up, and backs off quick. Not a chance. By now, there's a whole crowd on the road. Folding chairs, phones recording, realtors grumbling. The deputy's not having any of it. Clear the public right of way. No permits, no event. Denise rolls up, flustered, and tries one last time to plead her case. The deputy lays it out. "Ma'am, no means no." Rick opens the county GIS, blows up the planning map for everyone to see. The so-called proposed easement is just that, a proposal. Not approved, not public. Someone built this entire event on wishful thinking and fake paperwork. Then the MLS app updates on everyone's phone, disabling the ranch as a check-in point. Collective groan goes up. No certification credit, no event, no dice. Ellen, the deputy, Mark, everyone gathers for the final showdown. Denise gets handed a citation for the illegal encroachment. Her board votes to suspend her from event planning. And they draft a public apology for their next meeting. Just as the sun drops, I get an email from a different broker. This one asking for permission the right way, deposit and insurance already lined up. Now that's how you do it. As the last car pulls away and quiet settles over the ranch, Rick claps me on the back. Never thought I'd see the day they tried to turn your place into a tourist trap. We both laugh, exhaustion finally catching up. I grab my new insurance docs from the mailbox, covering every scenario from actual guests to uninvited HOA crusaders. Feels good knowing the gate is still locked, the land still mine, and the day finally done. So what would you have done? Drop a comment. Was I right to hold the line, or should I have let the circus roll through? And hey, if you enjoyed this saga, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. You never know what'll show up at my gate next if you told me that the chaos at my ranch gate would spill over into. The next morning, I'd have laughed, said these folks would be too embarrassed to show their faces. But that's not how things work when you mix real estate, small-town politics, and a dash of bruised ego. Truth is, things only got stranger after the dust settled and the last event tent got dragged away. I barely had time to finish my coffee the next day before my phone was blowing up. Again, emails, texts, even a couple of voicemails from numbers I didn't recognize. Rick called first, just to warn me. "Heads up, buddy. They're saying you cost the whole subdivision their MLS status." He sounded half concerned, half amused, like he'd just found out the neighbor's goats had eaten someone's prize roses. "You might want to stay off next door for a bit. Folks are well. Let's just say the comments are spicy." I chuckled, but not without a little unease. In a town like ours, news travels faster than the wind. Turns out, Denise Caldwell hadn't just stepped on a few toes. She'd stomped all over them in cleats. By noon, she'd been called into an emergency HOA board meeting. From what Rick overheard, let's be real, there was talk about liability. About whether the board could be sued for fraud, even whispers about electing a new president before the month was out. You could tell Denise wasn't used to being the villain. I almost felt bad for her, sitting there trying to explain to her own neighbors why she thought faking county approval was just streamlining the process. Almost. Meanwhile, my inbox started filling up with more event requests. Realtors, a local wedding planner, even a group of hikers from the city, all suddenly very interested in reserving the ranch, with proper permission this time, of course. Each one more polite than the last, offering insurance, security deposits, and, in one case, homemade peach cobbler as a sweetener. I couldn't help but smile. Nothing like a little public humiliation to make folks read the fine print. Rick stopped by that afternoon, handed me a printout of the HOA's apology post from their website. "Just for the scrapbook," he said. "Or, your legal records. Just in case." He was grinning, but I could see the relief in his eyes too, like we dodged a bullet together. But the drama wasn't over yet. See, around 3 p.m., a white SUV rolls up, parking right where the event tent had been yesterday. Out steps a woman I didn't recognize, probably late 30s, sharp suit, sunglasses, walking with the kind of determination that says she's not just here for a chat. She introduces herself as Marsha Lane, a lawyer representing one of the larger realty firms in town. She's polite but all business, hands me her card, and asks if I have a moment to talk about yesterday's unfortunate misunderstandings. I invite her onto the porch. Call me crazy, but I respect someone who has the guts to show up in person. Marsha lays it out. Her clients lost money, wasted time, and a couple of them are threatening to file complaints against the HOA for misrepresentation. She wants to know if I'm open to mediation, maybe even willing to write a letter clarifying that the realtors themselves had no idea they were trespassing. We're not looking to point fingers at you, Mr. Hollis. My clients just need something official on file in case this turns litigious. I let her finish, then tell her what I've told everyone else. Nobody's getting blamed for following bad directions. The real problem is the folks who made up those directions in the first place. We talk for a while. I show her the evidence, the fake email headers, the forged consent, the photos Rick took of every sign and tent. She takes notes, admits she's never seen an HOA go this rogue before. You handled this cleaner than most, to be honest, she says, tucking her notes away. I'll make sure my clients know you were never the obstacle. Before she leaves, she asks about the future. Would I ever consider hosting a big community event if it was done right? I laugh, tell her, maybe, but only if I get to pick the menu and set the guest list. She laughs too, but there's a flash in her eyes like she's already planning a proposal. Later, Rick and I are out by the fence line, mending a section where some overeager event-goers tried to slip through yesterday. He pulls a flask from his jacket, takes a swig, then hands it to me. To keeping the circus on the right side of the fence, he says, raising it in a mock toast. I take a sip, just enough to feel the burn, just enough to remind myself the world's still spinning the right way. Twilight falls, and the phone rings again. This time it's Ellen Carter from the county office. She says the board met, and there's an official investigation into how the HOA spoofed county documents. Jake, I just want you to know, you did everything right, she says. But you might want to brace yourself. Folks are going to be watching your gate for a while. Sometimes when you stand your ground, you become the story. She's right. That night, as I stand at the gate, I spot a couple of cars slowing down, headlights sweeping over the no event sign. I know half the county's heard about what happened. Some are rooting for me, others are probably still convinced I ruined a perfectly good community party. I can live with both. What matters is the fence held, the law was clear, and I never had to raise my voice or call on the cavalry. Just patience, paperwork, and a healthy respect for what's mine. The irony is, as the stars come out, the ranch feels quieter than it has in weeks. Cattle settle in the far pasture. Rick's porch light flickers on. Next door, I lean on the gate and wonder, while they try next time. Some folks never learn, and some lessons stick for a generation. Maybe the Real win isn't just holding the line, but reminding everyone why that line's there in the first place. If you stuck around for this whole story, I want to hear your take. Would you have handled it differently, or did I go too far? Drop a comment, share your wildest HOA story, or just let me know where you're tuning in from. And hey, if you got a laugh out of all this, don't forget to subscribe. You never know what might roll up to my gate tomorrow.